that that people are maybe still having some issues with getting in, but I haven't seen any emails from people saying that they're in. But I used to get that on different settings, so it's a long story.
Yeah, but keep an
So-
eye on your text messages just in case somebody's trying to get in. You
Yeah,
can look at
I'm
your
gonna
text.
check the text messages right now because a few people were planning on coming and I don't see them here. So let me see about the text. No, I'm not seeing any. And almost everybody had some things going, but we can start, but the settings are changed so that if you get in
You can just click and get in.
15 minutes late, then you can't get in. So it's got a little bit of extra security in there, which I really didn't want. But ever since I set it up the way I did, I didn't want to change anything because that confuses everything more. So if you didn't get in, let's preface this, the beginning of our session titled Channeling with Princess Diana and Mary Magdalene today. And I have two messages, first with Diana, and then I'll go on to Mary because Mary wants me to read from the book and talk about the book a little bit. So I'm going to
Okay.
talk about the book. So this is Mary Magdalene Speaks, the Holy Grail, the Bloodline, and the Secrets of the Divine Feminine. And it is on Amazon and available. And it's a really inspiring book about the secret mysteries of the divine feminine, which are missing from the Bible, and as well Jesus's childhood in India, which is totally eradicated from the Bible or was an unknown situation.
Unknown fact.
And since the church fathers heavily edited everything out about the female disciples, this really illustrates a lot of the experiences Mary had in learning Jesus's healing techniques, Jesus's learning from the Indian masters, as well as her being the chiefest of apostles of the inner way of mastery, which is really what we call the inner way of enlightenment, and very similar to the Eastern masters of tradition of enlightenment, and using one's intuition and psychic powers and auric fields and healing ability to bring forth enlightenment. And this was to be the second arm of the understanding of the new way. They called it the way back then. And I happened to have the honor of sharing a past life with Mary of Bethany, or Mary Magdalene, which was an awesome understanding to come to. And I came to it gradually by people identifying me and calling me Martha a lot in my Reiki circle. And then, and then I still didn't believe it, but that was back in 2006 or something. I did go to a hypnotist who was a real professional. He was a PhD, and he was doing sideline regressions. And so I went there, and in my first regression, I saw Master Jesus walking alongside me. He was a very tall gentleman in a white robe, and it was the day of the Beatitudes. So I recall my past life in this story of Mary and how I came to know and find out that Mary was indeed my sister and that I was Martha. But it took me a long time to assimilate that information because I was highly skeptical, as one rightly should be.
Of course.
Yes, it's a very interesting book, and Mary has a lot to say about how the divine feminine got eradicated from the church fathers. And she even has a gospel that has been found today, as well as all of the Gnostic gospels were found in Egypt in scrolls. And the early church fathers actually hid them in the scrolls and buried them in the desert because they might have been executed had they presented the writings of a female at the time. That was the society was so repressive. But Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene are still working for the liberation of women in our society today, for their voices to be heard and to honor the goddess, or the divine feminine aspect of goddess. And it still has a that the negative effects of the patriarchal society and the patriarchal religions are still dominant today in the treatment of women. So they're very supportive of democracy and the freedom of religion and the freedom of speech, and especially women's rights for and children's rights, because Jesus actually supported not only women's rights, and he regarded Mary, his wife, as an equal, but he also regarded children as equals, which is something new, you know. So he wanted everyone to have respect. So anyway, I'm going to go right on to Princess Diana's message, and then I will go on to Mary's. And so bear with me as I read this. I think it's fascinating. It's a lot about Harry, you know, and Meghan and the recent controversy around Oprah, but it's not a highly sensationalized piece of a channeling, but it's rather insightful as to the future of Harry and what will really happen. And I've been praying a lot for Harry when he went over to his grandfather's funeral. And I'm not actually a big royal fan of the rest of them, but I really like Harry, and I really like William and Catherine. And of course, Diana's sons, they are both light workers. So we have to give them credit for, you know, standing up for people's rights and everything, which they became very popular in the royal family because they do this. And she has prophesied that her sons will completely reform the monarchy. So it needs a lot of reform, let's say that. And
It does.
she confirms that there was racism in the royal family, but let's see what she has to say. So this was channeled 17th of April. Good afternoon to you, Princess Diana, as I'm your scribe and friend, Marcia. I was wondering if you had anything to say about the royal funeral of Prince Philip and your sons today. And she says, well, naturally, I'm expressing my deepest condolences to the royal family on their loss of Prince Philip. And I will be paying him visits here in short order, meaning heaven. So she will visit him. He lived a very long and adventuresome life, and I would like to say that he was always a consort to Her Majesty the Queen. I never quite got along with Prince Philip, and there's much more to the story that I shall not go into right today. I want to express my deepest condolences to my former husband, Prince Charles, and of course to my wonderful sons, Princes William and Harry, and their wives and other respective members of the royal family. Remember, keep the chin up and get on with it, as Prince Philip would have wanted. I sincerely express my condolences to Her Majesty the Queen for sure her tremendous loss of her husband by her side of 73 years. I'm wearing the two Princes Wills and Harry, my beloveds, and they are talking once more, which I'm most pleased about. Although I am saddened that they have been drawn together by this occasion, I did correctly predict that His Royal Highness Prince Philip would transition this year, and my prediction came true. There will be more breaking revelations concerning my death when Her Majesty passes into the spirit realm.
Wow.
I am so glad and heartened to see William and Harry walking together, as they rightly should, for the service of Prince Philip, which was beautifully done. His contribution to the military as well as his family was honorable. She goes on. It is my ardent hope that Prince William and Prince Harry will find it in their hearts to forgive one another for what was said in the Oprah interview. I'll say it was true. I don't think that William is responsible in any way for any racist statements that may have been made. It was someone else in the family, and they should rightfully apologize to Harry and Meghan behind closed doors. I cannot reveal the source, nor can Harry. I doubt that he will ever talk about his family again, because his sincere wishes are to reconcile, most of all, with his father and Her Majesty the Queen. And Harry, my beloved son, has all the best of intentions. Originally, he and Meghan wanted to serve the Commonwealth half-time, and they found that they were in an impossible situation with the British tabloids. They had to deal with and reconcile the adversity that the tabloids had given them versus the ultimatums from the royals that it had to be from Her Majesty and serve the crown or leave the crown. And Harry couldn't find a way to do that halftime. Though you might think that Wills could have been able to put a word in Her Majesty's ear to see if something could be worked out for a part-time job for Harry. So it seems unlikely at this time, since there has been a rift in the family and his withdrawal from royal duties and service to the family has been more or less finalized, I regret to say. Well, into the future, I do see Harry again with William by his side, fully reconciled, where Harry will be allowed to serve at William's side if he so chooses. Way in the future, I see this as a possibility because Harry's remained and will remain loyal to the Queen and the family. But it doesn't appear that way at this time. So there's a future for Harry, possibly still. Meghan was right to speak up for her rights. And as well, there are certain members of the royal family who are somewhat racist, and they made those remarks, but I cannot name those persons. The Queen Elizabeth has always been gracious to Meghan, and they have quite a unique relationship, which I hope will blossom in years to come so that they can share their great-grandchildren with the royal family and make them feel welcome to come home and to visit now and then. I wish to see that Harry could continue in his military service, for he was one and only person that can do the Invictus Games so well. He was marvelous as a representative of the United Kingdom, and he is thoroughly steeped in his military career. I hate to see him stripped of his royal titles and his position in the Commonwealth. A reconciliation between brothers and even Her Majesty in time will be, because I know she will want to meet her great-grandchildren. But for now, I wish to conclude only that I ask continued prayers needed for the royal family on such a sad occasion. And I also wish for prayers for reconciliation between William and Harry, and for those suffering the world over, especially from the devastating disease that has continued to plague millions around the globe. I felt that the COVID vaccinations were a well-needed solution to a problem, but now I see that they are also inherently problematic to some degree. I don't know, but I guess that they are not as effective against the variants that are out there. How the virus is really working and the vaccines do not appear to be working as well as we would have hoped. I know Mother Mary to be very much opposed to vaccines, and I'm very much not opposed to them. But I do tell you that the vaccine is a tool to combat the virus on a world stage. But I advise you only to be personally decide what you want to do with your choices as to whether to receive it or not. They have been not well studied, and there is a matter of it having the COVID virus itself having been made in the lab, which was very worrisome.
Mhm.
And she goes on to continue. I can totally confirm that it was a bioweapon rather than just a mere virus. And that is why it has been so dangerous, and why I ask for continued prayers to end this terrible suffering that people are experiencing this time. We ask you to do your part, at least I am, and I feel you, if you feel you must get a vaccine, there are some people, of course, with a pre-existing health condition, namely one of my other channels in England, who cannot receive the vaccination due to a blood condition. So I send out all my love to the grieving royal family and to all who are grieving everywhere. And I am eternally England's Rose and Princess of Peace, My love to all and healing to all. Diana, Queen of Hearts. We'll pause for a moment.
Mhm.
And then maybe we'd like to do a little bit of Reiki sending. You look
Mhm.
tired a little bit today.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night because my tooth was hurting. So I took painkillers or whatever, Advil PM or whatever, So
Sending out divine love and Reiki. Let me do a
thank
little
you.
crystal test on you right now. And then we'll go on to Mary's
Let
message.
me get my crystal too.
Okay.
Raj really tires me out.
I know. It's
Yeah. It's not easy battle.
it's not easy. It's not going to get better until he really commits to his program, as I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll include him in our prayers today. But I'm feeling the need that you need Reiki right now. And I'm getting a good reading on the crystal though. That
Okay,
is
good.
coming up. So that's good. And I think you'll sleep very well tonight because
Oh, good.
you look totally exhausted, like you were almost going to sleep.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep. Then I got up at 4 o'clock, So I did my
Oh,
meditation at 4. So, but that was a long meditation. So it's like finish around 6:30. So,
you got up to meditate before the sun?
Yeah, I mostly do that. But today it was very long. 4 o'clock I got up and I did finish around 6 o'clock. So.
Oh my goodness, maybe you need to just let go of that and get some good rest. I know I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep for 3 days very well because of IBS,
Mm.
and I was very swollen up and was very uncomfortable. Finally, it ended, but it has a mind of its own, or seems to.
Yeah.
Let me send you some Reiki. I'm going to use the symbols too. Choku Rei, Seiki, Hone Shei Sozen. Is your neck sore too?
Yeah.
Kind of out of sorts.
Everything, everything is like shaken up.
You need a nice long nap. Maybe after the next channeling, I'll put you to sleep with my channeling. I have a gentle voice, and people tell me that I'm great with hypnosis, which does put people to slight sleep. But I don't like anyone to go completely out. We had weird weather this week, though.
I know.
Snowed in the middle of the week, and then very severely cold and rainy. I got to meet Hope's new baby, and she
Wow,
was
very nice.
babysitting. He's only 1 month old and
Oh,
he's adorable, but I'm not too sure I can lift the baby. And if I can't lift him, then I can't take him because I got this disability with my hand and arm. It's permanent damage in the nerves. So we're going to do a test run, I guess, and see if I can do all of that. I guess, when you stay with the baby, you really do have to keep your eyes on him the whole time.
full time.
Yeah, yeah. So that would be fun, but I might find it a little difficult if I wanted to do yoga, channeling, take a walk. That's why I suggested to her that maybe a baby sling would be the answer for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, just relax and let go. Feel the burdens lifting from your shoulders as I send you Reiki. And I feel that there's angels around you on either shoulder. It's Michael, your angel. And I feel Master Yogananda sending you heartfelt comfort for your situation. He's saying that he tried his best to work through me as an instrument of healing for Raj, and that he will be healed in time, but he has to come to release his own ego attachment. And it's very difficult to do at the moment, but it's not impossible. So he says, never give up. And as a mother, you know that. Never give up your faith. Now, just stretch But I'm grateful that I guess you'll have to ignore that. I haven't seen anyone else try to get in the meeting, so I'll see what happens with the report back from others that were wanting to attend, because I had confirmations that they would be coming. So anyway, it may still be needing to work out. So I'll conclude this with white light and angelic healing. And my prescription for you is a good nap, and I'll continue to send Reiki all day. Maybe a cold pack on your teeth. So sorry to hear about that. So I'm going to cover Mary's message for today. And since we don't have that many here, or it's just you and I may do my own thing and do a whole Magdalene chakra meditation another time, because that would take longer. And we're at 1:59 right now. So this is from Mary Magdalene, whom I haven't spoke with in a while. And this is my painting of Mary that is on the book, Mary Magdalene Speaks. And I love the fact that I captured her. And at the time that I made the painting, I never knew that she was my sister, that I had any past life. I was just going on channeling. The image came through me. And then later, it was confirmed that that is very similar to how she actually looked. And I met a few people that carried the essence of the Mary Magdalene energy and were regressed by me. 2 people, in fact, claiming that they were Mary Magdalene. But I now find out that there's about 100 people in the world that feel that they were her, or that they were she, which I don't feel that she's really incarnate at the moment. I really think she's in the spirit realm with Jeshua. But these past life memories can be just simply Akashic record memory. So I don't know how to reconcile, but she did say that they were her soul aspects. So a soul aspect is not a full incarnation of a person. So we'll go on with Mary Magdalene's message. It's called Mary Magdalene on Misinformation, channeled April 24th. And I'm saying, good morning, Mary. I hear your voice within my mind. And if you wish to speak today, I so invite you to come in to the session with all my participants and send them your divine energy, the divine feminine. And remember that it is the full moon as well. So set your intentions firmly on what you wish to manifest in prosperity and healing, in family harmony, and other desires that are of the good. And I ask that the cleansing of the auras of all the participants, both watching this and myself and Prabha and any others that were trying to get on to the Zoom today, for cleansing and healing. And Mary comes forth and speaks now, and she says, it has been a while since we've had a group session or a conversation. I'm so delighted to be amongst you today as we celebrate the divine feminine energies and the full moon as well. And Mary now speaks on discernment and misinformation. And she says, I would like to ask you to use your powers of discernment whenever you suspect that there is disinformation coming from alternative or even mainstream news sources. It is a very destructive force, misinformation. Mother and Mary and I agree there are darker forces and darker countries with an interest to harm your democracy. And they are putting out immense amounts of disinformation to make it look like it's coming from America when it isn't. We say with great respect that we have for you, one and all, and in America in particular, is being bombarded with this information. We speak these words for all our listeners that they need to use reliable sources for factual information. And if it doesn't feel right, in the factual so-called information to seek out alternative stories that have an even-mindedness and show two sides to the story, for there are always two sides to every story. Many channeled messages don't resonate with us, nor are they from us. Be aware and surround your aura in the blue light of truth. Always go within to your heart for confirmation. Just because someone is claiming to be a channel doesn't mean it's ultimate truth. I personally confirm this channel, Marcia. Mother Mary and I can predict future outcomes and give you an idea about what's going to be happening. But at this point in time, it is best that you learn to look within and think about taking Marcia's channeling course that sharpens your mental acuity and your divine intuitive nature, which is what I taught while I lived in France some 2,000 years ago. I taught the inner way mastery. I worked with many teaching the inner ways of mastery, which I speak of in my fine book, Mary Magdalene Speaks. And so I would ask that you read Marcia's Mary Magdalene Speaks to learn of my life and teachings. Today's meditation will be on the chakras and bringing forth the Kundalini energy as you know it. Read it and tell my story, as we will be holding future monthly sessions from now on, featuring myself and other divine feminine masters that wish to have comment. I ask that you hold your vibration in the highest light for yourself and the highest self-esteem. As you go through these still troubled times, they will remain a little bit rocky in the forthcoming year until the pandemic is over. And she goes on. Yet, especially in Europe, and many of you feel great disappointment that you will not be coming to my sacred sites in Europe this year. But I tell you that there will be time in the future in both England and France for wonderful spiritual gatherings when all is safe and well again. I love you with the sacred flame as I love my twin flame, Jeshua, and he will be speaking in further sessions and we will be working together. So I have given a new assignment for Marcia that she didn't even know about. I send you my rose and my heart flame, as well as Jeshua sends you his heart flame. So I'll send the heart flame to you now, Prabha, and if you would also raise your hand and send out Reiki for a few minutes before we conclude the meeting. So any people that could not get into the meeting, we have done a lot of troubleshooting, and I'll continue to work on this or use another app, but it may be that people were busy today too. So I thank you for attending or watching this as an archive. And I'm going to conclude out, and I'm going to continue sending. You can stay on the call for a moment and we'll visit a little bit, but I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.
Okay.